I'm so excited that you signed up to get my free training video, 6 Killer E-commerce Mistakes and How to Fix Them. The answers I'll share with you today will allow you to increase sales, confidently engage with your customers, and help you beat the big e-commerce companies at their own game. So before you do anything else today, I want to share with you how I got into e-commerce and where I am today, and how I turn my business into a company that turns over $100,000 a year. I started life as a graphic designer working for companies in the 90s, including The Body Shop and Bloomberg. This was pre-internet, remember, when everything was designed into a catalogue or a gatefold leaflet. Remember those? I mean, how did anyone manage to do business? But somehow they did. So after I had my children, I went back to work part-time for a store in London, but not just any store. It was the best luxury store in London. It was called Liberty of London. And I worked there as a sales associate on the shop floor. I sold luxury accessories, including leather goods and fine jewellery. While I was working there, I became a top performing sales associate. I was there for over 4 years and I loved every minute of it. I served literally thousands of customers every year and I made many friends with designers and customers alike. The customer service training that I got there and the luxury goods sales knowledge I gained turned me into a part sales machine, part psychologist. And that sales training has served me really well, even when running my own online businesses. I know what you're thinking, but I run an online store. Why do I have to talk to my customers? I don't want to bother them. This is a perfectly natural way to feel when you first start out online. You might have a killer product, but you might be quite shy or introvert and have had no sales training and never really knew how to talk to customers before. But if you're running an online business and sales have flatlined or stagnated over the last month, if you keep doing things the same way, you're just going to get the same results. So you need to start looking at new ways of increasing sales. And it might not be stuff that you've ever thought about before. So, after my children went back to school, I used my design skills to build my online businesses, and that led me to consult as a UX designer for companies that generate over $500 million a year, including the Net-a-Porter Group, littlewoods.co.uk and benner.co.uk. The good news is, if you're a small company, a small e-commerce company, you can implement the changes that I'm about to suggest to you today quite rapidly. This is a tremendous advantage over large e-commerce companies that can take up to 12 months to implement even the smallest changes. Think about that for a moment. You have the power to make decisions quickly. This is a quote by Steve Blank. He's one of my favourite entrepreneurs, and you should follow him if you get a chance. His nuggets of wisdom are just amazing. So, what is killer mistake number one? The killer mistake number one that I find most or a lot of very new e-commerce companies doing is actually ignoring their customers. So, does your customer list sit on your Magento or Shopify orders list gathering dust? I mean, when was the last time you actually got in touch with your list? I don't necessarily mean by email newsletter either, because that's very impersonal unless you've really thought about how you're going to engage with them on a regular basis and personalize those emails. If you're sending out a random newsletter monthly, this is almost paramount to ignoring your customers. I know what you're thinking, but I run an online store. Why do I have to talk to my customers? I don't want to bother them. But this is a perfectly natural way to feel when you first start out. So when you reach out to customers for feedback or just to say hi, customers are naturally going to remember you and want to spend money with you again. Building rapport with your clients is a way of you giving back to them. You don't always have to be selling to them either. It's good karma to reach out to them for inspiration too, because you'll get your best ideas and best product feedback from them, and they will drive your business. You'll get all that good karma back in bucket loads of sales, and I'm not kidding either. You need to make it your business to connect with them. in ways that add value to their lives. If you sell jewelry, reaching out to them on their birthday with a free gift, or if you sell beauty products, reach out to them seasonally with new skin saving product offers. Or if you sell baby clothes, why not send them a sample of new products you're testing? You want to make your connections personal and absolutely in tune with their needs at a suitable time. And this building relationships takes time. It's not a race. So you actually need to take your time and you need to be sincere. But you need to allow your customers to be able to talk to you whenever they want. Killer mistake number 2, calling your customers customers instead of clients. You need to make this shift in dynamics. So imagine you're your customer's most trusted advisor. And to do this, you need to refocus how you perceive your customers. Your customers are not nameless bodies that buy randomly from you. Your customers have chosen to buy your product over another product because they believe in your solution. They shouldn't they should be elevated, therefore, to client status, and you should refocus immediately. This elevates them and shifts your perspective in them to be and also you into being the most preeminent person in their lives who can fix their problem. You are now the person they go to for all their specialist product needs. That's right. I'm going to repeat that. You are now the person they go to for all their specialist product needs. So, for example, if you still sell baby clothes, your client could have easily gone to the nearest babywear store and bought something else, but they didn't. They came to your store because they believe in your solution. And now, at the point of sale, when they've just bought something from you, is the perfect time to connect with them and say hi. Killer mistake number 3, feeling as though you're bothering your clients when you connect with them. So, the best way to get new customers and grow your sales revenue, drumroll please, is guess what? To actually talk to your customers. And the kind of talking to them I mean is either over the phone or in person to find out how you can help them with your solution to their problem. The most powerful connections I see of customers and clients is face to face. I'm sorry, guys, but if you want to hide behind your computer, don't expect anything to change. The most powerful feedback sessions I've ever witnessed was actually working on a farmer's market stall selling vegetable boxes and engaging with real potential customers for feedback. And if you think you can hide behind your company without talking to them, think again. My background in user experience design for large companies like Net-a-Porter, for example, gives me an insight in how to conduct research on customers and learn about their hopes, fears, and dreams in great detail, and then actually tailor that feedback into products and services. It sounds complicated, but it's actually very simple. So, companies on that scale use the information gathered during the research phase to tailor articles and content to customers' needs. This process actually remains the same whether you're turning over $10,000 a year or $1 million. The customer research to define customer problems plus web content tailored to fix those problems, and your web development will equal your online store. I recently carried out one-on-one customer interviews, my absolute favourite way to carry out customer feedback, by phone for a for a company that I wanted to produce a brand new online magazine for, which would help drive traffic to their site. It was a designer swimwear store. My brief was to create a list of content ideas for articles for their magazine. The company was super surprised by the research findings. Not only was the feedback fantastically insightful from the amount of ideas that the customers gave us for articles and content, but the interviews gave us great insight into actual product development as well. And this is really important if you're running an e-commerce business. You want to make sure your product doesn't get stale. So, killer mistake number 4 is telling your customers how to use your products instead of actually showing them. So, break out your iPhone video and get creative. And if you don't have an iPhone, use your camera on your computer, or you can borrow one, or maybe you can um, set up a webcam so that you can record yourself wearing your goods if that's what you happen to sell. So you need to get creative. If you sell baby grows, for example, you need to show your customers how the design makes it easier for your clients to actually change the baby's nappy over an existing solution. If you sell kitchen knives, you need to show them in action with video. If you sell jewellery, you need to show it on the model. Or if you sell handbags, you need to show the handbag in scale so that people can see what it looks like on. There's nothing worse than showing products that are not in situation but are just randomly allocated a picture without context surrounding it. You have a few seconds to convert a sale. You need to make it as informative as possible. So, video has by far the biggest conversion rate of all the content types. So, start building it into your everyday product configuration. Killer mistake number 5. So, how did you feel the last time you looked at a Google Analytics dashboard? I know. Did you feel like giving up the will to live? I know I did. And as for AdWords, well, honestly, I think it might be more fun watching grass grow. It's so complicated for a newbie to try and understand and get your head around. Also, think about it for a minute. What do you think is more important to your business? Obsessing about Google Analytics and trying to get your head around it, or serving your clients on a daily basis? That's right, servicing your clients. They're extremely valuable to you. They've already bought from you, and they may even go tell their friends about your business. So the likelihood that they will buy from you again and their friends will buy from you again is extremely high. For example, the shoe e-commerce giant Zappos found that 70% of their sales came from repeat customers. And I know you're thinking, but return rates are high. They're selling shoes. They're Zappos. They're massive. They heavily discount. They weren't profitable, etc., etc. I hear what you're saying, but they sold to Amazon for millions, and the founder made a huge profit, a huge amount of money out of that sale. So you're telling me that focusing on the customer is not profitable? What do you think Tony Hsieh was building? He knew that by building value first, market share would follow. He was playing a completely different game from his competitors at the time. The other point I want to share with you about this is he would not have been able to sell his business to Amazon if he'd built his business on Amazon, eBay, or any other third-party site. It just doesn't happen. And this is really important. If you want to add value to your business, it's not going to happen if you build that business on a third-party site. It might do in the short term, but in the long term, you need to remain independent to take advantage of the full benefits of your profits and maximize those profits. It's not going to happen if you're giving a percentage of those profits away to a third party. Last but not least, the killer mistake number 6 that I see is discounting goods that actually you can't afford to discount. And what do I mean by that? Discounting goods for new visitors is by far the biggest turn-off for new visitors. If you're selling premium goods and as a new visitor I can afford them, I want them to be expensive because I will actually value your goods more. If you offer me a 10% discount on first visit, it's likely to offend me. What I'm thinking is, 10%, is that all I'm worth? Cheapskates. This can be a hard strategy for newbies to get their head around. But think about it. How many of the customers that you gave a discount to ever came back and spent the full price amount for anything? That's right, none. And you know what? I learnt that the hard way. I had an online boutique. I used to discount everything for new customers. Those customers never repeat bought. But the ones that used to spend a lot of money without a discount came back again and again. Which customers would you prefer? Also, discount customers are not the type of clients you want to nurture. You should be targeting the full price paying clients who won't quibble about price. They do exist and they are waiting to buy your products. Discounting is a fast rate to bankruptcy for those that don't know or aren't trained in the highly advanced technique of discounting or the sales strategy discounting. I know what you're thinking. How can I compete with the big guys like Amazon and eBay if I don't discount? But discounting is not an option for you if you're starting out. The way to differentiate your business from theirs is through offering amazing products and services and perhaps discounting in a different way, like free postage or discount postaging. Sorry, postage. So now's your chance to put everything that I've shown you into action. And once you've implemented these steps with your customers, I want to get to know you better. So I would love for you to share your stories with me, and I may even feature you as a case study. So get in touch with me at louise@louisecampbell.co.uk. And thanks for listening today. It's been great talking to you.